Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today I'm reviewing this. Now this is my new edition that I bought this year. I brought this back from my camp up in Northern Ontario to show you. And I'm going to discuss just a little bit differently about vacuum bottles. My favorite is the Stanley Classic. This is my second one. This one is 2.5 quarts. And I've seen quite a few videos on YouTube where they're talking about, well, this one here lasts so many hours, this one here lasts less. It seems like depending on where the location of where it's built, depends on the quality of it. I've never experienced that. This is an awesome vacuum bottle. When I first started buying vacuum bottles back in the day, we're going over 40 years ago. This here was not, I would say, the most popular item. The most popular item at the time was like a real cheesy looking thing, and it had like a chromed glass liner into it where if you drop it, it would just smash. And they were cheap, they worked, but you know what, compared to this, it's like night and day. So let's get down to when you're making something that you put in your vacuum bottle, and all I put in this is coffee. Now, if you're making your coffee in the morning with a coffee pot, you know, one that is like a drip style, it's got a glass container, well, you'll see the label on it, it'll say it'll go from 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, maybe even 12 cups, right? Well, they're all bogus, completely bogus. Some measurements, I don't know where they got them from, but I've never had a cup of coffee, you know, like 5 ounces. And that's what these all seem to be, between 5 and 6 ounces, they consider a cup. Now, when I want a cup, I want a cup, right? So I figure I'm drinking at least 12 ounces at a time. So this one here is about 80 ounces. So I have to make 2 pots. I have 2 big kettles up in the camp, and I use propane, a Coleman stove. And I'm using propane. I got 2 big kettles. And what I do, and a lot of people, this is what they fail to do when they're complaining about, well, the coffee doesn't stay that hot, or whatever they're putting in there doesn't stay that hot. Well, what I do is, I'm boiling one of my coffee pots, my kettles. And when it's steaming hot, I pour it inside. And then, when the other one is ready, I make a pot of coffee with the second one. And of course, if you only have a smaller thermos, you only need to do this once, right? So what I do is I leave the hot water in here, and it's a good, I would say, 10 minutes or more. And then I dump it back into the original kettle, bring it back to a boil again. And then I take the other coffee that's made and I pour it in here. Put the lid on. Now I got the second kettle that I'm going to make another pot of coffee with, and then I fill it right up. So I can get around 24 cups of coffee in this. So a lot of people are saying, how many hours do you get out of this thing? Like, how long does it stay hot? Well, I can't make coffee first thing in the morning. Like, usually when I'm making, and I'm using this one here, I've got at least 4 or 5 guys with me, and to make that kind of coffee early in the morning like that, we're talking about 5:30 in the morning. Well, tell you the truth, you're going to be there for at least 35 minutes boiling water. So what I do, 9 o'clock at night, I make the coffee, put it in there, just black, and I would say, well, by the time we drink it at between 5:30 in the morning, it's smoking hot. And the one thing I like about them is this stopper here. This stopper is just ideal, because if you take a look there, you can see it's got a slot on it. So you don't have to open the whole thing up. All I'm doing in the morning is just open it up about maybe a half a turn, then you can pour, and you have no problem at all. And I'm talking, it's hot. So from roughly 9 at night till 5:30 in the morning, it's smoking hot. Now, how long have I let it go? Well, we've come back at, say, 2 in the afternoon, and there might be some, maybe about this much in the bottom. Man, she's still hot. I don't know what kind of hot people want on YouTube. You know, people are complaining about, well, it's not hot, this not hot, that's not. Well, it's hot enough for me. And I don't know how hot you want to drink your coffee. But now this here is like a little cup, but I've never used this before. And it's just a decorative lid as far as I'm concerned for me. But a lot of people would be taking this with them, you know, for like a trip or something like that in their car or something. And you could drink out of this, but I don't do that. I mean, this is about, I'm telling you, this is about the size of the cups that's registered on the side of a glass carafe. Now, I have tried over the years them, you'll see them like a chrome kind of carafe that you're supposed to store your coffee in. I've tried them, and there's none of them that last as long as this. This here, no problem, you know, from 9 o'clock, you know, at night till 2 in the following afternoon, no problem. So, I mean, but the other ones, yeah, it was like 8 hours, it was starting to like be a little, by the time you put your creamer in it, yeah, it's a little on the weak side, and I just threw them out. There's no way I could handle that. Stanley Classic Thermos, I've never had a problem with. So I just thought I'd mention this today about what kind of thermos should you get. I mean, I don't even think twice about, you know, what kind of thermos if somebody asked me to recommend. And for me, it's always been the Stanley Classic. They make other models too. I don't know about all the other different models. I never tried them all. This is the only one I go for. So thanks very much for joining me here today. And maybe I've kind of answered a couple of things about why some people are claiming that their coffee doesn't stay as hot as long. Well, just put some hot water in it first. You know, let it sit there for 10 minutes. And it should be piping hot when you need it. These guys come back again and watch some more reviews in the future. Real reviews from people that actually use the products themselves. I don't sell nothing. I don't promote nothing. I just review it. Cheers.